Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Layer Explorer. Today with us we have Chloe Peters. We studied together at AUB. She was an amazing animator. She actually animated in one of my first films, and I remember seeing the first take of her animation, and I was like, "This is gonna save my film," and it did. Like her stuff is amazing, but it's not what we're gonna be looking at today. So we're not going to be looking so much at the character animation. We're going to be looking more at the kind of illustration style and creature design and character design that Chloe does and her approach. And yeah, it was quite fun to see this one because when I would approach like plant design, for example, I look at the shapes of the plants and I just copy them. But she actually knows the names of these different species of plants. Every time I would be like overly excited about this, she'd be like, okay, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, it's not that deep. But like, she did literally know the names of all the plants in the illustration, and I'm sure that at least knowing that does create this almost like library of references that she can take from. So yeah, it was a really cool episode. I think it's another merger. I wouldn't say that it's so much a merger. It's more that she makes a lot of drawing decisions in the same layer. So she does. So it's not that she creates a lot of layers and then merges them. So it's kind of like half a merger. But yeah, super cool episode. It's a more like illustration side and less like background or character design. Even though there is like two characters in the illustration. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. And this is the episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Layer Explorer, where I get to invite my favorite artists into the show and watch them share their screen, and we explore between all of their layers and see their methods and their processes and the way they approach their own paintings. Today with us we have Chloe Peters. We studied together at AUB, and she's an amazing character designer, creature designer. Like, what can you like? Do you wanna present yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, hi, I'm Chloe. Here I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an animator and an illustrator living in London. Um, so I've been sort of animating in the industry for about how long has it been now? Like 6 years, 5, 6
We
years.
started in the same year,
And
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
2018 we graduated. So
2018. Damn.
I know that's scary, isn't it? Oh my
Yeah.
god. Okay. But like yeah, I've been animating for various studios here and there, mostly as a 2D animator, a little bit of 2D rigging here and there as well. Uh Mostly sort of all the drawing and illustration stuff I do for myself at home. But I really love nature and animals, so most of my stuff is all like focused around wildlife and animals and a lot of cats. Admittedly, a lot of cats.
I guess that's why my feeling was like, maybe because I see more of the stuff that you post, my feeling was like character designer. I've seen some of your animations and like I knew that you were doing animation when we worked together, but that's how I was like, I think it's
Mm.
character designer because I do see a lot of characters, but I guess I also draw a lot of characters and I
Oh,
wouldn't say character designer myself. But
I would love to
illustrator,
be a
animator.
character designer.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know if I'm designy enough, you know what I mean?
I,
Like
s- I think I have the same feeling. I see what you mean. I draw a lot of
yeah.
characters, but I'm a character designer. Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
It's like I love drawing characters, but am I good at them? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Like, am I ready to do a T pose of all of these characters and draw them like once again and again and again and change like a tiny
Yeah.
thing? Yeah.
Do I wanna do a full rotation of this guy, or do I
Yeah.
just wanna stick with a three-quarter front view and then be done with it?
Yeah. Sometimes it's just a one-off thing. It's just I want to draw this character. I want it to like be out of my body and then it's there and I don't need to rotate it or to animate it and see the whole thing. But tell us, I haven't
Exactly.
seen the painting that we were gonna look at or the character or the illustration we're gonna look at, so I have no idea what it's gonna
Oh,
be. You don't need to reveal it, though. You don't need to spoil it. I can discover this painting
okay.
together with the audience. But do you want to give us some without spoiling? I mean, I guess you're gonna have to say what at least what it is. But like, can you give us some context to prepare us to what we are about to see?
This one is probably I don't do a lot of like huge varieties of stuff. I mostly just stick to what I find really fun and relaxing on Instagram. This one it's one of my favorites, so I kind of use it like it's pinned on my Instagram and I use it for my business cards and stuff. So I feel like I feel like people might be sick of it by now, but I do slap it everywhere a little bit.
Okay.
But I like how it turned out, and it sells the best at markets, and it's sort of a combination of my favorite things, so it kind of works out. It kind of like, in a way, I'm like, okay, this is what I really wanted to do, and other people like it too. So it's almost like a representation of that in its own way as well. Of like,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you also, so I didn't know about the market. So you do these illustrations, but you also do prints. You were telling me a little bit about
yeah,
watercolors as well, and you go to
oh
art markets as
yeah.
well.
So the market thing is kind of recent actually. It's more like I like shared a table at a convention with a friend last year, and that sort of wet my whistle a bit. And then this year I started trying to do it myself. But competition's quite high, so I haven't gotten into a lot, but I think I've done 4 markets this year, which isn't a ton, but I enjoy them a lot. There's this monthly one that I've been going to, that I've been trying to do each month if they'll have me. Yeah, so I haven't done a ton, but I have been enjoying whichever ones I've gotten into.
Super cool. Yeah, actually, like, it's a funny coincidence because this month was the first month that I actually printed something that I've drawn digitally, and I'm
Oh,
trying to
it's a
make an
great
effort.
feeling.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's too far. I wish it was right next to me so I could like show it here. But I want to start getting into markets because I feel like I might talk with a lot of artists digitally, but like when you go into an art market, and I have friends that go into art markets, it's a different type of community that you meet, and there's something about like
Yeah.
you working with like real life resources. Like you have to carry those papers to the market. Like you have to find a way of like maybe not carrying the table because they might offer the table, but like carrying this little structures, and then you have to build it together, and doing that together with people must be like a nice feeling. Whereas with me, like having like an online shop, I feel very isolated.
Yeah. There's like a best of both where like online shop is nice in that if you don't want to interact with people, you can just do it quietly. But it is also really nice being able to see people in person and like talk to them, and then it's like a bit of advertising as well. People be like, oh, I haven't seen your stuff before, I really like it, and then you have business cards, whatever. But yeah, I really like that because I've never been a huge peoply person, but I do really like meeting other creatives and like people who are interested in creative stuff, and like
Right.
markets are really nice for people showing up and showing appreciation in your stuff. It's really nice to actually experience that in person, because like online it's great, but if there's a disconnect, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like getting a comment online feels so much different.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I have this feeling in like art markets, which is like when I go up to a table and I'm looking at the work, and the artist is right there looking at me,
It's
looking at their
scary.
work. Feels a bit
Yeah,
scary. Like I'm always like, can if like a friend come with me, so at least I have like someone
I
to
know.
like
No,
like
I'm the same.
as the artist on the other side of the table. How does that like what's your recommendation here? How does that feel from your side?
It's fine. I think because I'm exactly the same in that if I'm browsing, I'll I'll be really scared to approach the table if there's no one there. So I usually wait till it gets a little bit busier, and then I'll go, which of course isn't great. But like
Yeah.
as someone on the other side of the table, it's totally fine because that happens all the time. You
Yeah.
kind of learn to anticipate different personalities. Like a lot of the time, it's nice to be stood up and be like hello, be welcoming. But then other people you read just really don't. They just want to be there quietly and look. So you kind of learn to read people, and then if someone there just wants to quietly look, I mean, people like us will be like, I get it. You just kind of stand back and you just kind of let them have their space. And
Okay.
if they
That's a
want to
very
ask
good
something,
tip.
that's fine.
That's a
Or if you
I will
just
not forget
like
about that.
just say, oh, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So don't worry about it. It is very scary though. I still don't like doing it myself. Like I wait for someone else to show up.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That's a good like starting tip. But should we get to the file?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So, now with the layers, what's going to be the first one you will reveal?
Okay. So I always start with sketch. So
Oh,
I just go in, I use a lot of textured brushes. So like I kind of go in with sort of like a traditional vibe. I usually
yeah.
try to use as dry, sort of scratchy brushes as I can. This one is, if people are familiar with Clip Studio Paint, this is called Perfect Pencil, and it has a really nice sort of, when it's small, it can make it quite sort of dark and precise. And as it makes it bigger, it's almost like you're using a pencil on its side. So you can get quite a variety of
Ah,
marks.
super
So you get a
cool.
lot of like, I like all this like grainy mess, you know,
Yeah.
like it's not really clean. And I kind of I mean it was messy. I cleaned it a little bit. I've done some erasing and stuff, but I usually just use this as my line art as well. Like I don't do line art at all.
Interesting.
Um
So, do
let's
you
see the
do
different
different layers
sections
of
of the sketch.
sketching? So, you like have like your thumbnail and then you do like a slightly cleaner sketch, or do you clean the actual sketch as if it's almost like analog, like one layer? Because it looks very clean for a sketch.
Yeah, so I like this is tidied up a bit. So usually I'll start, like I have this fat oh, there's a lock on. There we go. I have this like fat brush like this,
Yeah.
and I'll sort of block it out maybe like this a little bit. But it
Ah,
depends.
okay.
Um, and then maybe I'll go over it with my pencil like that. And then either I'll do that on a separate layer in itself and I'll delete that, or I'll like go around and like tidy things
Sculpt.
up like this.
Wow.
And that's sort of, yeah. So you can kind of see remnants of it here.
Oh yeah.
They're like really fuzzy bits.
So you delete sketch layers that you don't like, that you don't need.
Yeah. But for stuff like this, because I draw cats a lot, sometimes I'll just go straight into it with them, you know, just like sort of lines like this, you know, like if I'm
Mm,
confident with what I'm drawing, sometimes I'll just be able to go straight in without too much of an undersketch and then just tidy that up.
I
Like all these
see.
wispy
Okay.
bits here. But I kind of just keep that as my line art. I don't do anything much cleaner than that because I don't like being clean. I find it really boring.
I see.
And I
Yeah.
just I like how my stuff looks when it's messy. I kind of like the weird paintiness of it. But I do get self-conscious sometimes thinking that, is it too messy? Like, is this, do professionals look at this and think like, oh, this just looks really amateurish or what? But I just sort of do what feels fun and what feels loose.
Right.
And
I love how you like
that's
distance
sort
yourself from the, like, you talk about the professionals as like
of
other than you know, like, but you are obviously like an amazing artist and definitely a professional, but like the professionals are this other entity that is like outside of you.
yeah. They always feel like that because I'm not a professional illustrator, right? Like I'm used to doing character animation. So when it actually comes to drawing and rendering and finalizing like a drawing, I don't necessarily do. I've done that for a long time, but I haven't really done it professionally. But like, but there always seems to be, no matter what you do, there's always like, oh, if people who are way more experienced at this, I wonder what, like, if they look down on this, you know, there's not that I'm really worrying about that much,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
when I'm
yeah, yeah.
selling at like markets, I'll be like, oh, I wonder if this is too messy, you know, stuff like that.
No, I feel you. I get you.
But this is the gist with the sketch, sort of. Mostly I just do it all in one go, but because this is sort of a layered, oops, that's a spoiler,
Oh.
sort of a layered type piece.
Yeah,
That was just the color. So
yeah.
I like cats and I like birds and I like plants. So this is what I was saying
This is
earlier, and that this
everything
is
that you liked
very,
in one image.
yeah. This was a
Nice.
comfort zone piece. So I think I did a lot of months of drawings that I didn't really like, and then I was like, I'm just gonna let myself be completely in my comfort zone here, and I'm gonna draw sort of in the style that I like with the things that I like, and I like sort of profile, sort of I like the composition of that.
Very
So
nice.
yeah,
Very
this
nice.
is this is sort of split into three.
And how long would you say this stage takes for you? Like to get it up
Ah,
to this point, how long would you
ooh,
say that you worked on it?
like just the sketch.
Yeah, to like to get to the point
Um,
what we can see right now is like done.
yeah.
How long
Ah,
would you say that took you?
I don't know. It depends how much finicking I was doing. But probably not too long. Maybe like 10 to 30 minutes, maybe.
Wow, that is so fast.
I I draw a
Wow.
lot of cats, so I can get cats done quite quick.
Yeah, you have the anatomy like right there.
Yeah,
You can draw. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah. I had a reference for the bird, which is a conure, a little parrot, and for the plants. But for the cats, I've done them a lot, so I usually just whip them out.
Is that like that's quite interesting? You say that like about the I imagine the species. Like, do you are you very precise about like I'm drawing this animal, this not like a cat, like I'm drawing this species or this species of bird, and then this is the reference that you get, and you kind of like that intention to be within your drawing, or sometimes because if I'll draw a cat. I mean, maybe after speaking with you, maybe I'll look for other species now because the idea I cannot forget this idea
Nah,
about like what would you
nah.
say?
It doesn't. It depends. It depends. Most of the time, I do go for specifics, just because I'm quite interested in that stuff, and
Cool.
I like sort of representing different animals sometimes. Like once I did a series on like recently extinct things, and that obviously was quite specific in that this is this, and this is how this is its story, and this is how things went down. But then other times, if I'm just goofing off, I don't think too hard about it. And sometimes it's fun to like design your own kind of animal and just sort of add what you think looks cool. And in this case, it was a specific like this cat is a caracal, which I draw quite a lot because I think they're quite charming. But they have very tufty ears. But obviously, I've stylized it in that I've done the eye really big,
Yeah.
and I usually do the fur quite straight, like straight liney fur. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it depends on the vibe. But yeah, very much you don't have to you don't have to follow the rules. You can just in
Yeah.
this case, I wanted to represent a caracal and a conure. And
Okay,
then
that's really cool.
these plants are syngoniums, the arrowhead ones. And then these at the bottom. This is only because I have some house plants, so I knew these, but this is called a Cebu blue epipremnum. And then
What?
this is a
So the same thing
monstera
you
at the
did with the
bottom.
cats, you also do with the plants? Like you know the plants that you paint?
Yeah. Well, like with the plants, I like drawing them, but I'm not actually great at them. So like I wanted specific ones so that I could draw them properly. Because if I'm just drawing them off the top of my head, they just end up being your really generic looking leaves. And then I'm like, well, that looks boring. So like stuff with plants. Oh, this one at the top, this spiky one is a bird of paradise, specifically because it was spiky like the top of the ears, and also the flower's really bright yellow, so that will come
Yeah.
out in the color later.
My favorite
Called
plant.
orange yellow. Yeah, yeah, you know it. The
Yeah.
iconic bird of paradise flower. It's
Yeah, I
like,
love it. So cool. It's also very good that
yeah,
yeah, like so you were thinking about that form on the kind of character and then you matched the way it kind of ends with the,
yeah.
like not by creating a fictional plant but by finding something that kind of matches the silhouette of the cat. That is
Mm.
so cool. That is so cool.
Oh, most of the time it's completely unintentional.
Okay.
But
Okay, fair.
this one I was like, oh, this will be neat. I can do this. It wasn't
Yeah.
like meticulously planned. It was just like, oh, I could add this in there. Only because I knew the plant already. Um, I'm not very good at planning. Like I don't do thumbnails and stuff. I just kind of jump in. So I don't want to give the impression that I like really carefully planned this because I'm
Right, I
usually
see.
it's
Okay.
like I'm lazy and I can't be bothered, so I just throw
Fair
stuff in
enough.
there.
It was a comfort piece. We're here for comfort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like adding in my favorite plants and favorite animals, and then the bird of paradise was like, oh, that will like match the silhouette a bit, and it's a pop of orange.
Yeah.
And I wanted orange to be in this because I like orange.
Yeah,
That's the
same.
only reason why. I think orange is great.
Very cool. Very cool. Wow. And what would be the next layer?
Okay, so after sketch, I usually just color the sketch underneath. Boop. So there's
Wow.
the cat and the parrot I've colored. I do sort of It depends on the day. Sometimes this like detailing here with the lines,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll do that as a separate layer, and then leave the color layer as a bit more basic block color thing. But most of the time I'm working on very few layers, and I'm just sort of working over the top of what I'm already doing. So like
So you're not a merger.
I'm not a merger, but I could be. But
You could
like
be
I
persuaded to be
already
a merger.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like because I'm like this could have been done in separate layers and then merged, but I just did it in one go. I kind of approach things a little bit traditional, and I just kind of keep
Ah,
putting on top
okay.
again and again. But like
So what would you call? Because every now and then I get a merger on the podcast that like draws in a lot of different layers and then
and
joins
then yeah,
everything.
that
But what would you
terrifies me.
call then someone that doesn't merge because they draw everything in one layer?
Uh I don't know. My first instinct was to say a traditionalist,
A
but I don't.
traditionalist.
But that makes it sound like saying it makes almost has like an air of like
Academia.
elitism on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like an air of like, oh, this is the traditional way of doing
Yeah.
it. So
As a
it's like,
traditionalist myself,
yeah,
this is how I
exactly. It's like, but like I mean it in the sense of like when you're working paint on paper in real life, you don't have
Yeah.
layers as much.
Okay.
So like you're just kind of layering on top and working again and again on top of what you're doing most of the time. So in a way, I'd say just like I don't know. Maybe we could make a fun name for it. Maybe just
Yeah.
like an, an I don't know, an
What would you call someone
anarchist.
that adds an anarchist? Yeah, probably. Yeah. What would call someone that keeps adding things on top? Like
Ah, indecisive.
the
uh,
opposite. Like it seems very confident of you to do that. Actually, like indecisive
I
is more like
guess.
on me that I create. I would create. I'll look at this rendering and I'll probably have at least 5 layers just for this like
Oh,
style of learning. So I think I would be the indecisive one here. And I
so I
would
think
never merge
like
them just in case.
it's more like I'll like paint and paint, and I'll paint over it again and again if I don't like it. So like this, if you just ignore the lines underneath this. So I use a lot of chalky brushes again. Hang on, I'm just gonna make a
Nice.
mess. So I use a lot of chalky brushes. So under all those lines is just sort of like a gradient of gray.
Yeah.
But I've used this nice fat chalky brush that I like, and I've
Yeah.
just sort of blended it together with the brush texture. And then like when it's something that I like, I might pick between the colors and then add a bit of hard detailing over the top like this or
Mm,
something. So like like this or whatever, and then I'll be like, oh no, I don't really like that. So just on the same layer, I'll just do it again, and then try again, and then I don't know.
yeah.
It's
Cool.
just
Cool.
making a mess. But like, I have to see if I can undo all of that now.
Oh.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
But yeah, sort of. There's not actually a lot going on here. It's mostly just the brush doing a lot of work. So like this grainy texture comes from this nice chalky brush,
Yeah.
and then once I've done like my nice sort of splash of colors and textures, I'll then usually, not all the time, but I quite like as a style going over the top with these hard lines because like that's kind of like how it looks.
Yeah.
It looks a bit more stylized.
Because like so, but like how? Because when you were talking about the flower, you already had like an awareness of like, oh, it's gonna be like a nice pop of orange on the top. But
Mm.
I can already see that if there is an orange there, it's gonna look really nice because of the palette that you're giving me so far. So like how aware of the colors are you? Because these colors like they look nice. Like you have mostly like grays, a little bit of yellow there and here and there, and then greens.
Mm.
How intentional is that? Like how much do you think of in advance like it's gonna be this color?
It's hard to answer because I feel like personally I'm not great with colors, but like at the same time I do pre-plan them, and like a lot of the time I'm sort of just putting things there and seeing what looks nice. But in the
Mm,
case of this one, I really like orange and like a green blue together. And
I
because this was a
see.
comfort zone piece, I was like, I want to use orange and a green blue. So I was like, so I'll do that with the eye, right? Because that's my main focal point, sort of. So you do like a bit of an orange, like I think the fancy word for it is sclera, like the white of your eye.
Mm.
Orangey there, and then like the iris is like this green blue, and then usually I do another little. I bring the orange back in the middle or whatever highlight color.
Nice.
And I knew this guy. I wanted him to be. I think he's called a blue crowned conure, and they have a blue head and a green body, so that worked great.
Cool.
Not necessarily an orange beak, but I sort of add lines here and there to bring the accent color back again, and you'll see that again in a second. But like I
That's
added
so
a
cool.
little bit of the orange accent there as like a sort of definition of the beak a little bit. So there's not a lot of thought, but maybe accidental thought. And I guess I use this color palette quite a lot, so I think I sort of knew in advance in this case. But a lot of the time, I'll go with like natural colors, and then I might shift them depending on what mood or like what looks nice.
Okay. And everything here is kind of like blending mode wise is just like normal
Yeah,
blending modes.
there's
Okay.
no. I don't know if this is weird, but I very rarely use blending modes these days. I used to
Wow.
love them. I don't think I have any. Me. No, this has no blending modes in it.
Okay.
I'm quite straight and flat in that way, but
Okay.
every now and then if I'm struggling with colors and I want it to look more uniform, then I'll maybe throw an overlay on there.
Okay.
If I'm doing proper shading, I'll use a multiply. But I haven't worked in that style in a long time. A lot of it's just like throwing stuff at a at
I
a layer
see.
and seeing if it looks nice. Because there isn't a lot of shading in this piece. It's a bit flat, this one. But then after this color, I colored the plants. So
Very nice.
again, thinking of the blue-green, the green is very cold. It's a very cold green. So
Yeah.
it's basically a blue almost, because I wanted it to be cohesive. And then I did that thing again where I sort of color my base color sort of with different tones, ever so slightly different tones with a very chalky brush to get the texture. And then I'll do like maybe lines and defining over the top. So like in the case of the leaves, like these lighter lines here, and then these
Very
lighter lines
nice.
here.
Yeah.
And then this one, there was a big trend in I say that the houseplant community, people who like collected houseplants,
Okay.
they really liked these plants that had a mutation where some of them just wouldn't have color.
Huh.
And that's where this patchy whiteness came from. Like, I don't know if you saw them, but like for a time, these monstera plants, these huge ones,
Yeah.
it'll be really popular to have one of these with white like patches on it. I don't know if
I have never.
okay.
I have a feeling that like when I look at it, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, these have been all around me like this whole time, and I never noticed it.
They're expensive, but they became really trendy. So I don't know if they became like worldly trendy or just like in a circle, circular trendy. Like
Yeah. Okay.
but that's why the white patches are on there, because that was like a popular thing at the time.
Cool.
And I like how it looks. I kind of like the patterning of it.
Yeah.
And then the bird of paradise leaf up here. It's got a bit of a gradient, I guess, in the lines, but that's just like painted on, kind of messily. It's like blobby.
Yeah.
A lot of blobby
Very
paint
cool.
strokes.
And there was no merging here. You literally drew everything in one layer.
No, yeah, but it's not. It's mostly again like the brush. The coloring might look more complicated than it is, because it's mostly like me doing light brush work and then like the harder patterning over the top.
Yeah.
So I like that mix of like soft and hard
Yeah.
texture and color and whatever. I think this is the flower. Okay.
Oh,
So that's the
nice.
flower. So that's
Yeah.
where the orange comes in. So it's the same orange as here.
Ah, okay.
And I think it's very almost the same sort of middle blue-green as it's in the eye. And like I like to try repeat colors. So like if I use a color somewhere, I'll want to put it somewhere else as well, so that it's a bit more harmonized, I guess.
That's
So I
super
try
cool.
to
So is
repeat
this like an
colors.
intentional thing that you do a lot in your paintings? Like, okay, you do this small accent color here, and then you try to bring it back in other points in
Yeah,
your illustrations, like in within the
yeah.
same painting.
So like my actual color choices usually are a bit, because I feel like I find it hard to pick colors that I think will work nicely together. So I kind of, that bit's a bit random. But then once I've got it going, a palette going that I like, I'll usually have an accent in there, and I'll try and replicate colors everywhere. So it's
Cool.
not like too muddy, because I used to just be way too muddy and chaotic with things. But now I try to keep it quite simple and unified and repeat colors in places. So you've got the same blue green coming back over and over again. I
Yeah.
think like the parrot's head is like the same as these Sebi blues,
Yeah.
and then
Super cool.
got the orange. Um, I guess the only thing is that maybe I've made it top heavy in this sense, where I've put the accent color way at the top for like no reason. But that in comes where like I'm not planning it like perfectly.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
doing too much planning. So in that case, it's like whatever, I don't mind too much. But in
It
that
still
case,
feels
yeah,
right in
maybe
the
it's
sense of like it's heavier on the left, and then it kind of you let it breathe on the right side, which
okay.
there's like
Yeah,
a
that's
very nice
good.
harmony to it.
I haven't used a ton of it here, but I do like a lot of negative space a lot of the time, like a lot of breathing room.
Yeah.
Um, but then I think that also included like the stems of these plants, that layer there.
Yeah.
And then I just did a very light background. If I get rid of the others, literally just scribble,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
just to give it a little bit more depth, like the illusion that there's more plants behind, but there's not.
Yeah. If we were doing this instead of, I guess we're doing this chronologically, but in some
Yeah,
episodes we do this like from the bottom layer. This would have been
and then it
like
would
our
reveal.
starting point, like or just like this, and it would look very
Yeah.
intentional because we wouldn't see that you drew this like probably last like behind everything.
This will be embarrassing. I'll be like, okay, this is the first.
Yeah, that was the first thing I do. This is how it all started.
Especially down here.
So funny.
But yeah, so that's just like to add a bit of depth at the bottom.
Nice.
And then and I think at one point I got rid of, oh no, I see where that comes in later. Okay. Because in the final piece I don't keep this border here, this drawn border.
Ah,
But I think
okay.
that comes in here. So I think next I did the overpainting, which is this one. So
Oh,
I sort of go over it again, all in
wow.
one layer, basically. So this is usually my favorite stage, where like I have everything sort of lined and colored and whatever, but now I want to like render it,
Yeah,
and I want to add bits and bobs slapped on top.
yeah,
And then so here I'll usually do, so like I've tidied up, for example, the leaves here. I usually just if I turn everything else off, this is all it
yeah.
is. Like it's
Very
so I'll
nice.
probably, if I ever need to change the background color, I'm screwed. So I usually just pick the background and then like carve into it that way instead of erasing, just because I find it quicker than
Yeah.
switching back and forth. Um, and then what else did I do here? Yeah, just sort of tidying up. I sort of tapered some of the leaves a little bit at the top, and then I painted over the border, so that's where the border disappeared.
Super
Um,
cool because I can see how you use this pass to get rid of lines in some points, but to highlight
mm,
lines in another points of a painting.
yeah,
That's
I kind of like the mix of both, like the mix of like hard edges and soft, and then the mix of lineless and line and sketchiness. And I actually realized just now that I kind of completely repainted the parrot's head in this stage as well. It completely
true.
changes shape. So I think I was like, usually what I do, I'll just sort of I'll paint over it, and I'll add bits, and then I'll keep sort of going. I'll be like, oh, I don't quite like that, so I'll keep carving it and painting it. And I'm like, oh, I still don't like that, so I'll keep carving it. And I just do that over and over again, and it just sort of ended up like this.
Yeah.
Um, so I've changed sort of it's got a darker head and then
Much more
a bit more
angular.
lines. Yeah, I made him more angular.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, in the chest too. I actually added a proper wing in there as well.
I
Um,
see. Yeah.
yeah, I sort of carved him to make him more that I want. And then with the cat, I added more of this liney texture, which is why I was saying earlier, usually I do these lines on a different layer.
Yeah,
But I think in this case, I forgot. And
I
I was just working on that
see.
layer, and then I was like, oops, and then I made a new layer. I darkened the eye a bit, and I brought that orange back as well,
Yeah, very nice.
around the eye, because that's like my, I want people to be looking at that.
And those outlines on like very specific leaves just creates this sense of depth in between. Like, okay, this leaf is in front of that leaf
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah, so like I like to do that a lot to sort of cheat depth. Like I'm not actually I'm not doing a lot of shading and I'm not doing a lot of perspective. So
Yeah,
things that I want to pop, I'll just do like a white or a pale outline around it. And
yeah.
it's as simple as that, and that usually just makes me feel better about it. It's almost like I don't
That's
know, it just
innocent.
sort of emphasizes the shape a little bit, I guess. But I do that with a lot of stuff. I'll do like a white outline around what I want people to look at, and then
Yeah.
sometimes that looks okay.
Yeah, because I think
And I did
sometimes
it up
people,
here
when they
too.
try to do depth, they make like, oh, whatever it's closer and it's darker. But if you made that forward leaf darker, then it would clash with the character, with the cat. So that is a nice way of creating depth in the background layer without the background layer coming into the foreground.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because that wasn't my line of thought. I wasn't that
Yeah.
smart. I was just like, I'll outline it and it'll look like, yeah, it's like it's in front of these.
Yeah.
But I could have done that with this one too, but I didn't. I guess I forgot. Um, yeah, in this case, yeah, the things like these really background bits are really pale.
Yeah.
And the stems are paler so that they don't pop out as much as the leaves do. But
Very
um,
nice.
yeah,
And
I
you
did a
add
bit more.
accent to the line on of like the kind of
Oh
neck.
yeah, I forgot that bit. Yeah, so sometimes if I'm feeling especially fancy, I usually just call them painted lines.
Uh-huh.
So like I didn't do it everywhere here. Like the nose has still got that sketchy pencil. But like in some cases I'll take the line and I'll just paint over it again, but maybe just in a more painty brush, and then I'll probably paint the line to make it so say if I did this again, um I'll like use a paintbrush to paint over it like this, and then I'll like keep picking colors to add to it and sort of paint the line like
Right.
this.
Okay, yeah.
It's like sometimes I'll have an outline, but like it'll still be painted, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I want it to be a bit darker down here. Maybe I'll bring that up this way, and like stuff like that. And I might do lines like that. In this case, I guess I just did it in one spot. I just wanted to like lighten the neck a bit, I guess, and I kind of liked the sketchiness of the face, so I kept that.
Yeah.
But I kept this one. I kept quite a lot of the original sketch in this one. I didn't paint over all of the sketch.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. But in this case, I think I tidied up my sketch quite a bit, and I liked the mess. I liked the dryness of it. And then after this, I think I'd add a little bit more lines. So I wanted to bring that accent color back again. And sometimes I like to add a little bit of graphicness to it. So
What?
I've done more lines. So
Yeah.
I like that contrast of like hard and soft. So like the softness of paint and then the hardness of line. And I wanted to bring more orange into it. So can offset that top orange a little bit, I guess. But yeah, just sort of literally just
So
lines.
cool, yeah.
It's not even tidy, like this bit here. And these are holes, but I've not, it's literally just very crude.
Yeah. Very nice.
But just wanted to bring more orange into it. And then I did it around the neck there.
Yeah. And the fact that the lines are just not on top of the actual line, or like what would be the lines of the leaves, they're just this kind of very graphic element on top, makes it like an illustration piece. Like it brings that kind of, I don't know, like it reminds me of a little bit. I mean, Steven Universe does it like very subtle, where they offset the line. I guess this is not like necessarily like an
Yeah, oh, they
offset.
do.
Um,
I know what you mean. This was
Yeah.
sort of just to add like more leaf detail, but in a lazy way, and to bring orange back and to
Uh-huh.
make it a bit of a graphicness to it. And
Yeah.
I've brought the white line outline back again as well around the head,
Ah, nice.
because sometimes I could have outlined it in orange, but I guess in this case I chose white because it stand out a little bit more. Because now I've got orange everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's orange by the ear because I think it almost like reflecting the flower a little bit.
Very cool.
And then I think the final layer is just whiskers.
Okay, I was not okay. Yeah, makes total sense. I was not expecting that. I don't know why I was not expecting that.
I know, like whiskers. They're always the final. They're almost like the signature for me. Like I'm like, oh crap, I forgot the whiskers, and then they go right on the top. And I always make them really straight because I kind of like them being sort of angular and straight, and they almost cause make directions. I don't know, like
Yeah, like perspective, like a vanishing point kind of situation,
yeah,
like
almost
pointing at
it just
the
adds
focal point.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, again with the like it just adds more straight lines to all the like painterly mess, I guess. Um,
Wow.
and I also did add a signature on this layer too, but I'm very bad at remembering to sign things, so that's one of the only times I've actually remembered to sign something.
I see. I see. It's so cool because like when I was seeing the first color layer, it looked quite final. But then every layer that you added, I'm like,
Oops.
yeah, that's a really nice. Like I thought I was satisfied with it, but then when you added the next
And
layer,
then
I'm like, yeah, that
it's
makes
like
total
another like,
sense. Like,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
So
I
it was
feel
like
like
every layer was a bit of a plot twist there. I'm like, I didn't know I needed those. Like when I saw the leaves, like kind of just the outline, yellow outline, I was like, I wasn't expecting it because I didn't see the final illustration. I'm like, yeah, it works so nicely
oh, it's a good
there.
thing you weren't spoiled then, because I didn't
Yeah,
know whether to show the final thing at the beginning or
yeah.
not.
I think
Um,
that's like I will keep it as a blank page even in the final interview. So people get to discover this with me as we go through.
okay.
Very, very cool. How long would you say that this would take you to do from like first idea, first beginning of the sketch to like, okay, I'm done with this. I can save this or export just a JPEG.
I'm very impatient person, so I always 99% of the time do everything in one sitting. But that's because I think I draw fairly quick, and then when I'm in the zone of it, I could just kind of roll with it. So something like this maybe took. I'm trying to see because Clip Studios sometimes has a. Oh, here we go. I should have done this before. I don't know if it has a timeline on it though. But I think. Oh,
What?
there's loads of pre sketches. Here we go. No, I don't know how long this took, but I have a feeling it was maybe like 3-4 hours or something like that.
Wow.
There's hang on. I don't remember this at all.
I
I've drawn.
love that.
I think I was like chatting with friends while I was drawing this. So there's an
That's
awful lot of tat at the beginning.
that's
But
so
we get there in the
funny.
end.
I'm so glad we got to have a proper honorable mention of whatever that character was. It could have been the print. Could have been the print, but in the end, it wasn't.
He's in there. He's in there. Like,
Yeah.
maybe I should have kept him very like 1% opacity so that he still existed.
Like just a little bit of texture in one of the leaves. If you zoom in, is actually that
Yeah,
character.
it's like like I kept him in there. He was the true beginning. But I've noticed I don't remember this at all actually. So this is news to me as well. I actually started with a blue background or like gray.
Interesting.
I'm assuming because it would make the orange pop more, but then I thought it was too cold, so I made it beige, yellow,
Very nice.
orange. Yeah, Clip Studio is handy with this. I think you can.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was possible.
You have
we would
to
have
switch
never.
it on.
This is like a ghost layer. Like we got to experience this layer that doesn't exist in the final file.
Yeah,
it's
a good thing I had this turned on. Then this wasn't planned at all.
Yeah, that's really
This is
funny.
totally planned. It's totally
yeah. Okay, well, that was amazing. Like that was thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And at the end now we've been doing this new thing called a quick tip where you share a quick tip that you find like handy or that you use that you do it a lot and I I wasn't expecting this, but like every single quick tip I've heard so far has surprised me. Like I really wasn't like I thought like okay I'm pretty comfortable with like Photoshop and stuff like that, and but like I get very surprised with like these tiny things that a lot of artists do that is very special to their process. So what would you say is your quick tip for this episode?
I thought maybe because I don't know if I have a lot of like experience to offer, but like I think the thing that I found maybe really enjoy working was just allowing yourself to sort of fall into the style that is more fun for you to make. So like how I mentioned that I just don't do line art, I just figured out one year like that line art was just I was just not enjoying it and it was my least favorite part. And I was like, what if I just don't do line art? And then I ended up developing this sort of style where I just sort of paint sketches and then paint on top to clean it a little bit. So I guess TLDR, my quick tip, I guess it's like you're allowed to be as messy as you want and your style is allowed to be whatever you want it to be. You don't have to follow the same stages as everyone else. You don't have to have your sketch and then your lines and then your color and then your multiply and then your overlay. You know, there's no
Wow.
rules and you can sort of do whatever's fun and then you'll find a way to make that work for you, sort of thing.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I've been finding by like seeing these all of these different approaches is like I I have a lot of this feeling of like I draw a sketch of a pose and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of movement, the silhouette, but then it actually is so hard as I render it for the sketch not to become kind of rigid. And this is a really
Yeah.
nice way of like looking at that where like I just won't do the line. Then like that part that usually makes it rigid, we just skip it. And then we'll compensate with
Mm.
some sort of like design decisions at the end with those really cool highlights or bringing back the accent color here or there. So it still feels like a line drawing, but doesn't have that kind of like, okay, now I'm gonna do the rendering stage where I render with a nice line, blah blah blah. Like I should try that. Should try that.
Because
Okay,
I had
no
that
taken.
exact same problem, which is why I stopped. Because I
Yeah.
figured I've gotten a lot more stuff these days, but mostly just because I was like mostly doing study drawings for a long time and not being loose. But I found whenever I did lines, I just preferred the sketch so much better. I was like, oh, it looks so much more fluid, so much more gestural, and a lot more like like properly hand drawn. Like with sometimes when you see like guidelines peeking through, it's nice to see like what the artist was thinking. Like you can
Yeah.
almost see like their thought process a little bit. And then when I cleaned it and tried to make my lines all nice and tapered and whatever, and it was cleaned and I got rid of the sketch, I was just like, oh, this just looks so flat all of a sudden, like so flat and so stiff. And that was just me. I don't think I was very good at line work and I wasn't very good at translating that energy into clean lines.
Right.
So I just cut it out. I just stopped. Uh, and I still
Cool.
do it here and there. Like I did some stickers recently and I did it there. But in the cases of paintings, I was like, I just don't want to do it anymore. So I
Yeah.
didn't, and that was it. But you don't
Wow.
have to.
Amazing. Well, Chloe, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for being so flexible and so available. Like we did this with quite a short notice. And I'm very grateful you made a time super quickly to do this.
Yeah,
And
it's
do
good.
you want to tell us how can people find you? Tell us what's going on in your life at the moment. Tell us everything.
Oh, well, I'm mostly on Instagram these days. Uh, I'm finchwing on there. I also am that on Twitter and YouTube, but those are a little quieter. I'm finching art on Tumblr. Yeah, that's about it.
Tumblr. Wow, that's
I know. I
I haven't
don't
been on
really
my
use
Tumblr
it
in a
so
while.
much. I know. To be honest, It's my favorite because it doesn't have as much of an algorithm, like a pushed algorithm, as everything else. It still gives
Ah,
you stuff in chronological order, and like nowhere else does that anymore.
it doesn't
And
have
that's
like
why I
the
like
For You page kind of situation.
it. Does still have a For You page, but I just ignore it. Yeah, it doesn't default to it like Instagram does.
Yeah,
It does have an ad here and there, but not many. And
yeah,
also like back in the day, like I don't know if you posted a lot online when you were like a teenager and stuff, but there was a lot more of a community in that it was a lot more normal to comment on stuff.
yeah,
This is a complete tangent. It was a lot more comment on stuff, and that helped people make friends and helped people make circles and get around and be seen, because the more you comment on stuff, the more people are like, oh, it's this guy again. And then
yeah.
as social media has developed and it's become more of like a scroll, like type thing, there's a lot less actually like commenting, a lot less dialogue. And Tumblr still has that in a weird way because people leave dialogue in the tags in a strange way. And it's almost like
Interesting.
they're allowed to say whatever they want because they assume people won't look at the tags. So sometimes if you like look at the tags of your artwork on Tumblr, you'll see a whole stream of consciousness from someone. And it's really interesting. Like someone will be like, oh
Wow.
my God, this reminded me of that one time I saw that cat in the woods and then this happened and this happened. And they wouldn't necessarily say that on a regular comment on Instagram because they're like, I don't want to sound insane. But because it's
Yeah.
it's like a hidden tag that's like people don't usually look at it, people will like ramble. So I kind of still
Interesting.
like Tumblr for that.
That's quite interesting.
But
I
yeah,
feel
that was
like the short format, like the limits of like characters of Twitter when Twitter started blowing up
oh
made
yeah.
the whole way people have conversations change. So,
Yeah, I
and I
think that
think
must
it
have been it, yeah.
automatically, I think like the impossibility of having a long paragraph of me explaining an idea or explaining a comment or something made people snappier, I think. And that's
Yeah, I
where
think you're
like
right.
a lot of like, I don't know, rage started and people like getting angry. I
Yeah,
feel like
that must have been where it came from. Like, I didn't think about that before, and that yeah, Twitter being because these days you can have a lot more
yeah,
text, can't you? Whereas back then it was like maybe 20 words or something.
yeah, it was
Maybe
very
that
was very small. So you had to be somehow like insightful, quirky,
fast.
funny, and sassy in about 25 words. And then boom, like that's it. And then you
It
get
was a
some
skill.
shares of the yeah.
But yeah,
Whereas
like
yeah, I
because I
think
didn't. Did you ever use DeviantArt?
no, I've never used DeviantArt.
Oh,
I
it's
would
got a
visit a
bad
few, but
reputation. It's got a bad reputation, but back in the day, like as a teenager using DeviantArt, it was such a good place to be for artists because everyone was interested in art. And if you posted something, people would give you paragraphs of comments. They'd be like, "Oh,
wow,
I really love how you chose this, and then you did this, and then that, and then they also had groups. So like, if you were interested in something, like, oh, I'm gonna join like the anime group, or I'm gonna join the Lord of the Rings group or something." And then people would post relevant art in there, and like even like photography and writing as well as drawing, and that made people find fellow fans and their own people, and then there was just much more of a like
yeah,
uh, what's the word a culture of talking to each other a lot and
yeah,
leaving really insightful comments, and that's completely gone now. Like that's died,
yeah.
and I think
I
it's because
regret
social
not
media's
doing that. Yeah,
squished.
I think like
It was nice.
I think like the language barrier probably played a role in
Oh
it.
yeah.
But I remember, yeah, I don't know. I remember being like super young, like 12, discovering like internet was starting to become a like really. We didn't have this kind of scrolling, doom scrolling kind of thing yet.
Yeah, that
Like,
wasn't.
but I
It
struggled
was
to
more
find
pure.
these communities.
Oh yeah,
I
it's not
yeah,
fair when everything is English dominated, which is a shame. I had so many friends on DeviantArt who learned English through DeviantArt, which is
interesting.
crazy. My
Yeah.
oldest internet friend, who I've known since I was 12, or maybe 12,
Wow.
14, she's German, and she always jokes that her accent's really weird because she learned most of her English through talking to me on DeviantArt.
That is so interesting. Wow. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
Whole people were raised on there. It was for better or for worse, you know.
Yeah. I remember really, really liking One Piece. I mean, I still love One Piece, and I'm like, "Ah, I wish
Yeah, it's
there
still
was
around.
like, am I the only person that watches this? Every time I talk with someone, like, people
They don't know what it
they don't
is.
feel as passionate about this like arc or something that I really like. And then I look back and I'm like, maybe I should have just got into a chat like, hey guys, anybody here that likes One Piece? And like, but now the positive thing is I don't get spoiled because I'm not in any of these things. So like I have
Oh,
my other friends
yeah.
that now like One Piece and they get spoiled because they're following like pages and stuff
Oh.
of this. But please, if you are someone in the comments right now and you watch One Piece, please don't spoil me. I only watch the anime, okay? Um, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry, big tangent there, but I complained to a friend about it recently about like, people don't comment anymore, and it's people are trained to just like things and scroll and scroll and scroll and not look at things.
Yeah,
So it's fresh on my mind.
yeah. I think I've been doing this thing where I draw one Pokemon per district in Portugal, and I think
Yeah,
and I do a
great.
lot of research on the live streams about the culture of this district before I draw the Pokemon, and it's the first time, apart from maybe like a few small comics that I've posted that were quite like intimate on my Instagram. It's the first time that I feel this Tumblr side of, but in Instagram. Like, and I've been in Instagram,
Mm.
like I've been using Instagram for since uni, so at least I don't know, maybe 10 years. But like people actually comment long things about, oh, I come from this district and this thing happened. It's like blah blah blah. Use this element is so right. Or I actually I'm surprised with how much hate that I don't get yet. So I'm surprised by that. I'm
That's
kind of
good.
expecting it, but like
Ah,
surprised that hasn't come yet. But like because I think like trying to summarize an entire district with like one tiny Pokemon,
someone's gonna.
it's inevitable that I'm gonna leave some stuff out, and this stuff might mean a lot to some people, and they might be like, okay, how come you did not include Pastel de Nata into my like I don't know like this Pokemon, but
How dare you?
yeah, but
I'm
okay,
glad that you haven't got it. Like,
yeah,
because I was looking through because I've seen those pop up, and I was looking through, and those have got like loads of comments, and I was like, hell yeah! Like you found the thing. Like when you tap into that niche thing,
yeah,
and then
very very
suddenly people
surprising,
are inclined to say something. That's a special thing because now
yeah,
it's hard to get people to say stuff. So now they want to say stuff. And with
yeah.
the Portugal thing, obviously Portugal's probably very underrepresented. So like they're probably super happy to see something local, like, oh my god, like that's where I live, and
That's
like,
literally the reactions that I get. Oh my god, I can't
exactly,
believe my district in the interior of Portugal is getting a Pokemon. Let's go.
exactly. Like it's appreciated when you
Yeah.
find that niche, and then people find you. They're like, oh my god, it's so nice to see something that I relate to, and
Yeah,
usually I
it's
don't.
very
You know.
special, and it's a way for me also I to discover also culture that is not necessarily directly related to a certain toxic way of being around culture. Like I'm discovering a lot about
Mm,
Portugal, but and I'm discovering a lot about this country, but it's not in a kind of like,
in a positive way.
yeah, it's not in a nationalist, like ultra nationalist kind of way. It's actually like, yeah, like we have these nice plants and we have this nice food and we have these nice things here. We have blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and it might be things that people might necessarily look over, like national plants and stuff.
Yeah, we have a dragon plant that bleeds
A
red
dragon
resin.
plant,
Yeah, it's called
yo.
Wait, I have it written here. It's called
Yeah, ready.
Dracaena Draco, and it bleeds
Ardracana.
red resin. And people said that that was dragon
Ardracana.
blood. It's
That's
such a
sick.
cool plant.
Oh, I see it. It's like, yeah, Dracana, like, you can get these as not these exact ones, but you can get Dracana, the family, as a house plant too, but this
It's
is sick. They
For
look
me, it sounds
very
like a Game
cool.
of Thrones name, Dracaena
Yeah.
Draco. Like
It is.
she isn't that what like the character would say to the dragons before they like do that flame like throw
Yeah.
attack or something?
It's like a Skyrim shout.
Yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go.
No, yeah, it's like finding out, like doing stuff like that, it makes people happy that they're being represented, and also like you find out a lot about these things you wouldn't have known otherwise either. Like, oh, now I have a new appreciation for this plant, and the next time I'm outside and I see one, I'm like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah. I can imagine myself. Oh, that's a Dracena Draco. Like,
Yeah, and then
how
people are
come you
like,
guys don't know that?
okay, yeah, like,
Yeah.
did you know that guy, like, that tree bleeds?
Yeah.
Bleeds red blood.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool fact. But yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah.
this. I'm
Thank
gonna leave
you.
all the Instagrams, all everything that you said. How do people find you? Like as like little icons, like here, in this part of the
Nice.
screen, and I think that's it. I think that's it.
Cool.
Guys, have a really
Thank you
good
very
day. I
much.
hope you enjoyed this amazing conversation. And this has been another amazing episode of Lyra Explorer. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.